So now that we've talked about concurrency and scheduling a little bit with monos, now that we've talked a little bit about blocking, let's go ahead and talk about error handling. So in general, error handling operators handle errors that occur in a mono chain. And the one we're going to look at here is called onErrorResume. So the onErrorResume operator is used to subscribe to a return fallback publisher when any error occurs. And here's what it looks like. So the parameter that's passed is a function that's used to choose the fallback to apply depending on the type of error that has occurred. And what it does is it returns a mono that falls back to this parameter that's passed in, the fallback function, if an error occurs. So if an error occurs, we fall back and use that value rather than having an exception propagate. This particular operator will swallow the exception, so it doesn't propagate up the call stack or the call chain any further. It'll stop it, it'll return the fallback instead of throwing the exception, basically. And that's what's commonly referred to as error hiding. Here's a very simple example. We have a from callable, which might do something, say, like divide by 0. We schedule that to run in the background in a parallel thread context. And if for some reason it happens to divide by 0, it'll throw the arithmetic exception, and we're going to have an error handler here that's going to convert the arithmetic exception to 0. And we'll take a look at that when we look at the case study in a little bit. There's an onErrorResume next method in RxJava's single class that works the same way. For some reason, they call them slightly differently. There's onErrorResume for Project Reactor, and the equivalent semantic in RxJava is onErrorResume next. I don't know why they're given different names, but they are. Completable Futures has a method called exceptionally that's very similar to these other methods, where it'll be used to basically catch an exception and then convert the exception to some other return value. Okay, so that's a quick overview of error handling operators in the Mono class.